And welcome back to our season finale of Inside IU Sports. I'm your host, Caleb Gillock, and now we're going to have a recap of all the sports. Joining me to do so is IU East Athletic Director Joe Griffin. So, Joe's what we'd like to do here is we'd like for you to pick one word and about each sport to describe how that sport did this past year and your reason for why you would choose that word. Let's start with women's basketball. What would the one word be for them?
Probably not the word you would think of, but I'm going to say wow.
Okay.
What a great first year to finish in as almost 20 wins, right. 19 wins in the first year. Championship conference made it there. Overtime, close to going to nationals the first year. What a great start to a program.
Right. What do you expect to see them do this next year?
Well, it looks like they've had another good recruiting year, and mostly locals again.
Right.
And so you just never know. You don't want to put too much pressure on, too much expectation. But with another year of experience for all them and another good recruiting year, I think they picked up defensively some help, especially. And I just think they should, they have a great chance to be a 20-win season.
Right.
And they have a great chance to be right at the conference championship or the chance to go to nationals. And for all of our teams, that's all you can ask. They have a chance to get to nationals. Tiffany's doing a great job. Really pleased with the program building and going in the right direction. It's pretty much a wow for the first year.
Right. All right. Well, moving on to men's basketball, what would your one word be for them?
Expected. We expect them to do well. They've just built a great program. Mark has done a great job. The consistency, they're there every year. We have depth. We do well. The third year in a row to go to nationals. 2 additional 1,000-point scores this year. Tyler going to be the lead right now is the all-time leading scorer. He just built a really nice program. Unfortunately, we come to expect this every year. But fortunately for him, this year, first time he's won the KIAC outright. He's been co-champ before, but he's built a program where we expect him to be there, and he's fulfilled that. So again, he's had another good recruiting year, I think, and got some needs and some for the future, and I think it's something we can just keep going.
All right. How about women's cross country?
Women's cross country, let's put men and women's cross country kind of in there together.
Okay.
The programs are going. For the men, we had 2 guys go to nationals again. That is great news. They're building. The base is getting better. We're improving in the conference. We're competitive. Not right up there at the top yet, but I think we're not that far away from both of them to be able to compete for conference championships. In our minor sports, which are anything besides volleyball, basketball, and basketball, that's a player or 2 makes a huge difference.
Right.
So you're always 1 player or 2 player away from making that jump from middle of the pack to up to the top of the pack, and that's where we want them to go. I don't know. I can't think of any one word, but for both of them, but. It's a pretty good group, and I expect most of them are going to come back. We're missing our number 1. We'll graduate, but besides that, we have the rest of them look like they're coming back, and I expect that to continue to grow.
How about one word for women's golf?
Struggle. Well, just with as many coaches we've gone through, just to field a team was pretty tough. It was tough on everybody, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to step in on it. But we had Alex come in and transferred in, and she was a really good golfer. She could, if we had anything to go with her as far as the level of talent, then we'd be in a little better shape. The other schools in our conference are a little more established, but Alex did a great job. She finished in the top 5 in the conference,
right.
And really, I think with a little more golfing experience at a higher level, I think she could have won conference. She was good enough to win conference. Had a bad 1 round, and okay, you only have 2 rounds. You have a bad 1. You're pretty much shot yourself in the foot. But she did a great job, and the girls that were committed to it did a great job. So,
how about men's golf?
Men's golf, it was maybe close. I see them they had the talent level to be really competitive at that higher level, and they showed glimpses of it. Just getting it all together at the same time, I think, was probably one thing that hurt them. We still have a couple of nice players coming back, at least 2, maybe 3 coming back to build on. Again, we'll see how recruiting goes this year, but we need to get that next group through to come in, to build on, to get better. With golf, you really need five guys shooting in the mid-70s. And, we'd have a couple down there and a couple close, and so we just need 5. So again, they're close. They're a lot closer than the women at this point. But of course, I'm hoping the women, we can catch up pretty quick with me coaching, and the men can just keep not letting us catch up, or trying their best not to let us catch up. But close, I think, for the men's golf is what I would say.
Now, with the men's golf team having some returning players, what do you expect out of those players next year?
Well, one thing I want the university to do is I think we need some of our minor sports, again, besides volleyball, basketball, is we need to show a little more support for some of our minor sports, and we're going to do that. And scheduling and not necessarily gear so much, but just commitment level for those sports, to what tournaments they're going to and all that. So we're going to try up that. So then the other side of that is the commitment level from the golfers or from any of our athletes. They're going to pick up a little bit more of the commitment level, and I think that's what's going to basically take us to that next level.
How about one word for volleyball?
Consistent. I mean, how can you not with 20 win, another, I can't remember, 7th 20-win season in a row, or 5th, or whatever it is, and just real consistent. I thought they had a pretty good base. There's been a lot of turmoil, not turmoil, but just has been real smooth in the volleyball program. We're starting to get on the other side of that. She's had a good recruiting class, and I just expect another 20-win season coming out of her. And especially when you have Mallory coming back, who, regional player of the year, and besides an All-American and all that, something to really build around. You have that one player that can maybe carry you through some points to make sure, but consistent. They've just been real consistent at our level. Now we want to get them back to nationals. We've been there a few times. We weren't this last year, so we want to get back to nationals, and I think we can be there.
What are some of the things you think they need to work on to get back to the national level?
Well, depth. I think we just a few more players, a little more depth. So injuries, because there's always something comes up during the season, sickness, injuries, and all that. And I think she's fulfilled that. And we have 2 or 3 players who really can be able to build around. 2 of them are underclassmen, and plus with Mallory, if we can just go in with a good, consistent effort and commitment from them, which I think is there, and I think we'll have I don't see any reason why we couldn't go to nationals.
Right. How about women's tennis?
I would put women's tennis like with women's golf. It's kind of in a growth stage. We just need a lot more players, a lot more competition. And commitment, and the same from the university side. We need to show a little more commitment to them. One thing I really would want to do is I really want to work on the facilities that they're at. Well, I think we need to upgrade the facilities as best we can. The city is great for letting us use the park. I just like to have a little better product down there, and we're working on that. We're trying to do something together that we can upgrade the facility just to show the commitment to the athletes. What we want to do. And, again, you need 10, 12, 14 girls, women on each of the side. You got men and women's tennis, really to have the competition and take it in the direction you want to go.
How about men's tennis?
Again, men's tennis, they had I would say, close. They, number 1 kind of was out, will not be able to play second semester, and the other guy that took number 1 couldn't play in the conference championship, and made it to the Final Four. And I'm thinking, we're pretty close there. A player or 2, a little more commitment, and we could be right up there with anybody. The talent level is not bad. Again, we need a little bit higher talent level on the upper ends, just like everybody else. So I think it's really pretty close. They're not that far away. None of our teams are that far away, especially our minor, of really making that next step up to the upper tier of the conference.
All right. Well, moving on to track and field. Let's start with women's track and field.
Women's track and field, again, like cross country, probably let's kind of put it in there together. We need numbers. We need more competitors. Right now, we're probably have 20 or 30, and I want to shoot for 60. So there's good competition at every event. Right now, when you're building a program, it's at the early stages, and I'm bringing a little different emphasis on it than it's been in the past. They're doing more distance track and all that. I'm trying to expand that out for sprinters and shot putters and discus and just a well-rounded. And so looks like we're having a pretty good recruiting class as far as numbers. We need to get the numbers up, and a little more competition. It's a little better team feel when you do that. Don't feel quite so isolated. And but I think it's going to be there. We had the KIAC Athlete of the Year from our conference, and he's an underclassman. And we have a few guys who are really, and I know female, were fairly close to make it to nationals, qualifying for nationals. So we're not that far away. Again, 2 or 3 players and are competitors in each of the sports, and just a little more commitment level from us as a university and from the athletes, and I think we can improve that quite a bit.
How about one word to describe the men's track and field season?
With a KIC player, I mean, again, I hate to see we're close, but they're almost there. I mean, to me, that's just a couple of events, a couple of other guys improving just a little bit more, and all of a sudden you're seeing quite a big difference in what happens. And again, we need more numbers. We can't have guys competing at so many events that basically they're not doing anything maybe to their maximum best. That's what you need to do to make it to nationals.
So what do we need to do to be able to get more numbers in our programs?
Well, one thing we're working on in the school, it takes time, and that is probably need a few more coaches to maybe specialize in some of the track and field events. A little bit more scholarship money always makes a big difference, but it is a minor sport, and it's a little tough. But the school is trying to do a little bit. We'll do a little bit at a time, so hopefully that'll keep improving. And basically is what I've learned in the past, you beat the bushes. You just go out and you find the kids that maybe haven't reached their potential, have not been seen, not getting a chance, and you bring those kids in and develop them, and all of a sudden some of them explode. And you get enough of them, and there are enough of them committed to it, it just builds on itself. You end up with a nice, solid program.
Okay. All right, well, when we come back, we'll have a year in review for Joe's first year right here on Inside IUE Sports.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And welcome back to Inside IUE Sports. Joining me today is IU East Athletic Director Joe Griffin. And now we're going to talk about your first year here. How was it?
It was great. It was a big learning curve for me. Coming from other private universities to a state university was a little different. Just learning every place is a little different, and just learning how to get things done and what's going on and all that. The strength and weaknesses of the programs, of the university, all that, just learning. But it's been a great year. I've really enjoyed it.
If you had to say what some of the more difficult moments were throughout this year, what would they be?
Difficult. Not having your own facilities makes it a little interesting. This is the first place I've been where you didn't have basically everything you had on campus. So working with everybody else, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's just you're always at somebody else's pleasure.
Right.
And City of Richmond and Richmond High School has been great to work with. Frank Carr over there has just been. It's been really his first year, my first year. It's been a really smooth as you can be. Good communication. Seton Catholic was nice to work with. You know, Richmond High School for our track and field. And fortunately, we have our own cross country, so that's
Right.
nice. Cross country course, and the city down at the tennis it's been really good. But it's not on campus. So you don't have total control. So that part's been a little different.
Right.
I don't think anything's been really difficult as far for me, because I'm new coming in, so I really have nothing to do with anything that happened in the past, and I'm just looking from here and going forward and
Right.
trying to put my vision on everybody to see how good this can be.
So it's safe to say that it'll make your job a little bit easier once we have the Student Event Center here.
Well, yeah, it'll just make life easier for as far as practices, and if the Student Event Center is taken for something else, we'll know ahead of time. We can make adjustments ahead of time. And it only happened a couple times with Richmond High School. There was a couple of things, and all of a sudden you're going, whoops,
Right.
and we need to find another place. And in fact, Earlham was good enough to let us rent their facility for one of our games. We had to switch
Right.
for something that was happening previous, but it's a good community, and the community helps out as much as you can.
Right.
It'd just be nice to have our own thing that we can build on and grow with.
So what were some of the highlights in your first year?
Well, I tell you, I think maybe this goes back to one of the disappointments. I don't think the city of Richmond and Wayne County realize the product they have here in volleyball, basketball, and basketball. I mean, this is on the national stage level, and sometimes I don't think they understand that. So that was a little bit the thing, but that's the pleasure, is going to be basically competitive nationally in your three main sports. That's pretty fun. That's pretty easy. Now you just got to try to keep it going, and we've got the right coaches in place, and they're going to keep building. They want to grow. They want to build it. So that was a really nice pleasure of it. And some of the individual athletes we have is pretty good. I mean, they're pretty good. So it's fun to watch it. You can see what we can build around and what we can grow with. So it's there. The potential's there to be not only good in the main three, but the other three to be very good. And that's kind of my goal, is to build all of them up. So we're really, really good in everything that we try to do.
So when you hired in and you knew the state of the program then to now, how would you describe the transition?
Transitions, I think, would be, we're in stage one of building them up. The university, I think, sees where I want it to go. I want quality. I want the students have a great experience. But the bottom line, we want them to graduate.
Right.
That's what they're here for. Not too many of them would be playing professional anything besides their jobs.
Right.
And we want them, this is a learning environment to learn about life, and I think that's what we want. How hard you work. You can live with the wins and losses. When you put your max effort in, you can live with yourselves. It's the same with life.
Right.
So
what are some of the things you're working on for next year? Anything?
Well, the big thing is, again, we're trying to see what we can do with the tennis courts down there as far as getting them resurfaced, and that's a process, especially with two entities, they're not being our own. Right. The Student Event Center, again, we're just transition one more year, and then we can go get back in there. So that's really exciting. But the biggest thing, I want to make sure the university or the city knows about the university and the quality that we have here, not only in our athletics, but overall is part of it. But a little more buy-in from the community, realizing they have a pretty good sports program here, and one they can get behind. So we're trying to work on that. We have some things in play that we're going to start introducing sometime this summer, as far as just to be able to support the university and athletic department as individuals and also corporations out there.
Anything else you'd like to add about this year?
I just think the best is yet to come. I mean, I think if we can just maintain our main three sports and build up our other ones, I think in 2 or 3 years, you can all of a sudden you're looking back going, "Wow, look where we are now."
Right.
So I think it's going to be a fun ride. I think it's a great community. is for athletics, and the IU East community realizes the value that athletics brings to the university as a whole. So I think the best is yet to come, and I think it's going to be exciting to be on the ride.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe, for joining me, and thank you for all you're doing for Red Wolf Nation here at IU East. That concludes this week's episode and this season of Inside IU East Sports. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in August.